So today I want to talk about one of my favorite games. It is Stalker, and well, the reason that I like it is that it's just so damn good, man. You see, when playing most games like Call of Duty or you know Rainbow Six, there is this expectation of being taken on a cinematic trip. It's mostly following a linear road. Now, other than that, there are certain FPS games like the Far Cry series, and what's really interesting, uh, the difference is that Stalker isn't that popular. A lot of people are talking about it nowadays because of the whole Ukraine situation, but it wasn't originally so. Before the whole Ukraine business started, people didn't talk about it that much. There were a select few, and I went to YouTube and actively searched for those videos about my favorite video game series. But there weren't that many, and so when I tried finding Stalker videos, I had some problems. So now I'm making my own. Anyways, back to the subject matter. Linearity in video games. My first experiences were with games such as Call of Duty. You know, it was the first FPS game that I played, and I went back in the series because my system isn't that good. So I went back in the series, and I didn't like it that much. And then I came across this post-apocalypse simulator, as I thought it was, Stalker, you know, and I really fell in love with it because it tried to explain the supernatural phenomena that was occurring there through science. Like everything that happened in Stalker could happen in real life. That was my belief. Oh, there are zombies. Why are there zombies? Was there a fictional virus? No, it was radiation. And that is what I thought. But then I went back and finished my very first playthrough of Shadow of Chernobyl, the first game, and it blew me away because I finished it. I had reached the wish granter, and when I did, I died. I was kind of depressed after that for a while, but I figured out that this is not like the other games. This is not linear, and that I had committed a mistake. Now, throughout the game, you would meet other people telling you about the Wish Granter and about the different factions around there, about the north of the zone. What's in the north? I was wondering always. At first, I didn't. At first, I just wanted to, get a main quest. And as far as I knew, I was just doing another random job for Sidorovich after rescuing Nimble. And then it became this whole expansive quest, the main quest. My main quest was not going to the labs or going anywhere else. My main quest was finding this Strelok guy and killing him. Of course, before that, I want to get answers from this Strelok guy, but spoiler alert, we are Strelok. And I actually figured that out pretty early on because when I looked at the picture and I said, this guy looks suspiciously like me. So maybe I am Strelok? I found that out when I was near the 100 Rats bar, but I didn't get it confirmed until the late game. Then there was this whole sea consciousness twist, with us getting the answer to the second Chernobyl disaster, but not really, you know? You know that there was this group of scientists who tapped into something that they shouldn't have, and the second disaster happened and brought about the zone, but that's not all of it. Yeah, there were other things that happened there. All of the X labs, all the mutants, all the anomalies. The second disaster did major damage, but it isn't all of it, you know what I mean? When you look at the zone, no way a single disaster could have done everything that it did. There are, there are also other factors, you know. There is this very good YouTuber, Chaoticism. You should really watch his videos. He does playthroughs of Stalker with certain limitations. And, he tried to play Shadow of Chernobyl's sequel, Clear Sky, and he couldn't complete it with a pistol at a certain section because the bullets would just disappear. And so he had to use scoped weapon just for that section. But he completed Shadow of Chernobyl using only a knife, which is a terrible weapon to use, might I add, in any Stalker game, since all the NPCs can detect you as fast as hell, and each bullet that they shoot could be deadly. Now, Shadow of Chernobyl is very popular for that reason, and because it started all of it, and because technically you can do whatever you want. You can finish the game however you wish. I mean, the end of the journey could be the same as many other people, but the journey that you went on would be very different. For example, I have two stories to tell about my experience with Shadow of Chernobyl. Now, there was this time that I went into Agroprom Underground, and that is a very popular section of the game. When I went to the Agroprom Underground, I reached Strelok's hideout, got the information that I wanted. On my way back, the military tried to intercept me. And the military are no joke, they are seriously powerful. And at this particular section of the game, you are just beginning to get your footing. I had an AK, but I didn't have that much ammo for it. So I went into a doorway, and there I decided that I would just stand and shoot them one by one. Now, when you shoot people, you cannot shoot them in the leg or the chest, especially the military with their overpowered armor. you have to get headshots and you have to shoot them before they shoot you. Now, this was a very tense moment for me because I did not save, nor did I intend to save. I intended to stand there and go forth upon my desired path. So, two military personnel entered, and I got headshots with my AK, but my ammo ran out. So I had to switch to my PMM, and it is basically a ripoff of the Makarov pistol, and it is the very worst gun, arguably, in the whole series. But regardless of that fact, headshots with anything could down another stalker, and so I waited there and I turned my headlamp off so they wouldn't see me because I didn't know that the you know headlight lamp would not have any effect on it, but I didn't know that, so I did it anyways. And it was pitch black, and I would detect the military personnel using my minimap. So whenever a red dot appeared on screen, I would search for the military member very quickly with my crosshairs, and I would shoot at them 2 or 3 times, and I would get a headshot. And I stayed there for so long. I was very afraid of another military member coming in after, I think, the fifth or sixth one, but no one did. So I very carefully trudged forward, and there were no others. There is, of course, another encounter with a very terrifying mutant over there, but compared to what I had just experienced, that was nothing, especially since I could just find a ladder and escape to the above ground of Agropom. Now, this is one example. Just did you see how that situation emerged? I bet that most stalkers experience the same thing or have their own certain stories to tell. On top of that, these situations are, how could I put it? They are emergent. There is no invisible hand of the developer guiding you to these situations. It's all you. It's how much you were prepared, how much did you know about what would happen, what did you get, what you didn't get. And so these experiences would happen. And it's kind of like some stories that just happen, you know, and it's not the tense moments, I think. The tense moments are great, they are great experiences, gameplay wise. But I think it is more the expectation and how that expectation changes when you get there. You have this expectation of going somewhere, doing something, but something totally different happens, and that is what you remember. What should have happened for me at Agroprom is I go into a certain area, I infiltrate it, and I get documents, like a spy or something. That is what would be the expectation in a very linear game. But what actually happened is that I encountered two of the most terrifying mutants to ever be in the zone. Now, I want you to keep in mind that before this section, the mutants were mostly just animals, the animals you would perhaps meet in a normal environment, maybe a forest or a jungle, just with a little bit of twist to them. They aren't that strong, they aren't that terrifying. They are actually food, if you will, to the different stalkers of the zone. My other encounter was with the bandits, and the bandits are what feed on rookie stalkers. So I was more afraid of the bandits than the actual mutants of the zone. Those were the main threat. And then it was the military. But I got my first taste of a real mutant. The mutants at the cordon and at the garbage are our food, but to the mutants that were on the underground, we are food to them. And that is terrifying. And I saw them because the developers intended me to. But what the developers didn't intend is my sheer terror of getting shot down by those military at the doorway. And that is an experience exclusive to me. No one else would have the same story of the Agroprom underground as me. They they will all have their stories in which they encountered the mutants, and you can see that on YouTube. You can see how everyone talks about the bloodsucker and the controller that they met at the underground, but no one will talk about that doorway, about how I made my stand in the dark. They won't say that. They'll say something else. So that is another reason to love the video game series and why you should absolutely try the vanilla ones. Despite all of their problems, they are still an exclusive experience and they are highly personalized to you. So, for example, let me tell you another story. I had made my way into a place called the Dark Valley. Now, the Dark Valley has this whole thing going on with the bandits. The bandits are actually one of the most enduring enemies of the Stalker series, and they are the very first human enemies that you could encounter, and that is their base. That is the bee's nest. After them causing so much trouble for me, I was at their home and I was going to hit them at their home, and I met these guys, the dutiers. Of course, you meet them much earlier, but this one has a quest for you. His friend has been captured by the bandits and he needs help rescuing him. So I helped him because after helping him, he said that he would point me towards the bandits' base. Of course, I could have just walked there without helping him, but I helped him anyways. We ambushed the bandits, rescued his friend, and there was his other friend at the base. Of course, I didn't rescue that one because I didn't care that much. I went to the bandits' base. I killed all of them, including their faction leader. I went to the lab. I got the documents. Of course, this lab is very memorable for the Stalker community, but again, for me, it was just Tuesday. It was another lab like the Agroprom, and I got my documents. What is very memorable for me is that I had spent a very large amount of ammo and supplies. And so I get this call from the coordinates trader, and arguably the very finest trader in all of the zone, Sidorovich. And he says that there is this path you could take to come back to Corden without going to the trouble of going on the same path that you came from. And well, I took that chance because the path that I came from was particularly troublesome. So I took it, and I arrived at the, you know, truck station, I think, which was the very same station that you clear as your first mission from Sidorovich, in which you hit the bandits. Of course, it was empty by then. I had arrived there, and I searched a couple of bodies, but that was a mistake, because somehow a whole contingent of bandits decided to converge upon the place, and I didn't know what to do. So I hid in one of the buildings, and I didn't have ammo. I only had my PM again. And because the bandits are usually low level thugs, all they have are pistol ammo or shotgun slugs, and their weapons are very similar. Sometimes a couple of them would spawn with a submachine gun. Those are particularly scary. Of course, not more scary than the guys who get AKs, but yeah. So the bodies that I had looted only had pistol ammo. And I just hid in the building, hoping they wouldn't notice me. I wanted them to pass, and then I would continue upon my journey. I crouched in the building for, I think, 2-3 minutes. They were moving. Some of them were even running away. But this one particular idiot with his friend passed upon the building that I was inside, and they decided, building with bodies, why won't we go inside it? And so these two came in, and I just had to headshot them before they blasted me with their shotguns. 1, 2, both of them died. I was so happy. I'm so sad since everyone started shooting at me. Now, this time I couldn't count how many bandits or stalkers or anything I killed. I was just so afraid. I was just trying to headshot everyone, because everyone was trying to shoot me from all sides of the building. Now, this building, thankfully, was a really good building. It had windows on all sides and a door, but the windows weren't that large, and it was kind of high up, so they couldn't shoot me well from the windows, but they could shoot at me from the doorway. So I would wait until one of them just came across the doorway and tried to shoot me, and I would headshot them with a PM. And then when they grew some intelligence and tried to shoot me from the windows instead of the doorway where they are exposed, I had to switch my position to shoot back at them from the windows. But then, occasionally, every couple of minutes, one of them would, try to flank me and come in through the doorway, and man, was that scary. So I was very tense, and the whole battle took about 30 or 35 minutes, I think. By far one of the longest battles that I've had in the whole Stalker series. And at the end, there was rain, you know, and there was nothing. There were just bodies, and it was particularly sad because this whole station, when you take it over with the other stalkers, there are certain comrades. Of course, you were just doing a job together, but there's this connection that you feel to people whom you did something with. To me, it was an achievement taking over the truck station, and I took it over with them, and they sat there. They talked. They sat around the campfires instead of the bandits. They were friendly, though not too friendly. But then they weren't there, because the bandits had killed them, and then they came back to kill me.